Then just tell us very quickly some of the other books you've written, because I've seen the book called Confident.
Yeah.
I've seen the book called Beloved.
Yes.
And then you've got a story about going through a dark period in your life. What's that one called?
It's called Treasures of Darkness. And that particular book is almost an autobiography of 2 years of our life where my husband got really ill with burnout. And I really didn't know where to turn because everything in our life went wrong. It just felt like God had taken away everything. My husband, as I say, got burnout. I used to think burnout was just somebody being a little bit tired, but I began to realise very, very quickly it was actually probably the nearest thing I know to a nervous breakdown. And not only that, but he had physical illnesses as well. And he couldn't cope with even someone coming into the house or anything like that. So at the end of the 2 years, because it took 2 years for my husband to go through this whole procedure, and at the end of the 2 years, Ray said to me, Nancy, you should write a book on this. And I was like, really? And he says, yeah, I think you should write a book on this.
He took up the challenge.
Yeah, I did. And he said to me, Nancy, be honest in it. Be honest about how I was and be honest about how you felt. People have called it a very naked, honest account of 2 years of a storm, and it was a storm. It's where people turned against us. It was where money ran out. It was where things started breaking down. It was we could not hear from God about Ray being ill. There was just silence. It felt as if God was a million miles away, and yet we still loved him and kept going and kept holding his hand. And even although we didn't feel him around, we just kept going, basically. And at the end of 2 years, when Ray was back to being fully well again, as I say, he said, write it down, because often as leaders, leaders hide things, because they don't want to cause the flock to fall, if you like. And so therefore even sometimes
through shame
or through just thinking, well, I should be able to cope with this. I'm a leader, for goodness sake, and so what I wanted to do was to show that leaders can even have situations where they can not understand what God's doing and how you cope with those situations. And so it's a book that actually it's a very easy, readable book. If anyone who's going through a tough time will find it really encouraging. But also I found that leaders have found it very encouraging, and that leaders are buying it and saying, this is what I went through as well, which is amazing because, as I say, so often leaders tend to close it in thinking, oh, I shouldn't be feeling like this.